We're back. We're wild and we're free. Today's topic: finding a profitable niche. Let's put this mic on properly so people can actually hear what I'm trying to say. Anywho, right, finding a profitable niche, right? That's my little crappy picture that I put on there. This is more of a strategic overview. Because it really, and I'll tell you that up front, because it really winds me up when I watch YouTube videos and you're looking for some tactical, do this, do that, and you're not getting that, but they kind of sell it as if it is that. So this is a strategic overview. I will follow this up with a tactical one where we go into how to exactly to do it step by step, because I find that it's useful. It's useful to have the strategy, the theory, and then go into the how to put it all together after. Really winds me up watching a YouTube video, especially a long one. You watch a long YouTube video, right, and you think you're getting somewhere, and they never actually drop the bomb or give you anything of value. So this is a strategic overview. It's really important. It will underpin the next part of what we do and how we do it. So let's look, see if this wants to work. There you go. So the whole point of finding a niche and just starting with that is to, take an idea or find an idea and create income from it. There's a lot of talk about niche and this, that, and the other, and people talk a lot of nonsense about it and how to find a niche, etc. Ultimately, if you're looking to make a digital product, which is what we're trying to achieve here, right? If we're trying to make a digital product, we need to find something that is valuable, that is going to sell. And yes, people will always say, find somebody's, problem, be a solution, fix something for them, serve them. And that is true, because basically we go into the market, it's a value exchange. We want money, and in return for that money, we need to give them something of value. We need to give them something that is worth that money on the market. And the market will decide ultimately. We don't decide whether or not it's worth it, the market will decide. So, for the purpose of this, we are going to be looking at finding a profitable need. I've already picked the make money online kind of, because we're making a digital product, so it just makes sense for me to walk you through making a digital product, selling it, whilst selling that to people as well. So it just makes sense for me. It simplifies the whole process for me when I'm creating this, rather than having to dig into another topic on top. So you find a profitable niche. So make money online is a niche that you can dig down into. Then within that, you've got people who want to, do drop shipping and all these other things, but we're going to break it down further into people who want to create digital products, right? So, but you can find this with ChatGPT and do a lot of research in it using the deep research element, right? That goes into a lot more depth than the standard one. Again, I'll show you what to do with that, but essentially we want to uncover our niche, and I will help you with prompts and what we're going to do to figure that out. So why does it actually matter, right? So if you release something, like I said earlier, and people are not interested and people don't want it, then you're just wasting your time. You're wasting a load of time creating a product, a load of time marketing it, and you're not going to get anywhere. All you're going to do is blow a load of money. So 35% of startups fail because there's no market demand for their idea, really. So basically they've picked the wrong niche, or they've not really done their market research, ultimately, is what it comes down to. If you're not prepped, right? So information overload's another one. So, the online money making space, right? You see it everywhere, don't you? It's huge, and it can be overwhelming. So that's why we are focusing down, not just going, anybody wants to make money online. We are focusing it down, people who want to make digital products, beginners who want to make digital products, who've never done it before. That's going to be our niche, what we're focusing on, okay? So we're keeping it simple. We're drilling down a couple of layers. And I know people don't always want to do that. I've been very reluctant in the past to niche down. But ultimately, you need it comes down to marketing, really, right? And if you're marketing your product to everybody, you're not marketing it to anybody, because you're not standing out. You're just going to be too bland and vague, and people are just going to skim past what you're doing. So that's why you need to be specific and pinpointed in who you're directing this at and what it's for. So our secret weapon that we're going to use throughout this series essentially is ChatGPT. right? We're going to use the research method to do a lot of digging for us, a lot of the grunt work and the searching around the internet to find specific information that we want. Right, so I use the ChatGPT Deep Research. I pay for the Plus version, which is it the Plus version or the Pro version I'm paying for, which is the most expensive one. You can get Deep Research on the Plus version, which is £20 a month, I think. And then you can kind of dip in and out of that. I think you have like so many goals on the Deep Research every day, and you don't need it for everything, so you'll get away with that, and you can just use. Even if you run out, you have to wait until it refreshes. It tells you when it refreshes, and then you go back and do it later on. So it might be more of a faff, but it saves you a fortune, so it's worth doing it that way. So because it's not just a chat, right? The research function, it actually goes into actual depth with some research where you would have to do that yourself really if you wanted to come up with a really good idea. So, you know, I've put it's like an AI strategist. It's not, you're going to have to run this show, right? It's only as good as the prompt that you give it, ultimately, and the extra layers. And there's nothing wrong with going prompt after prompt after prompt and digging and digging and digging and trying to uncover that information if you haven't got it. Don't just accept that first run if it's not what you want or if it's not actually covered everything right. We need to dig down the layers, right? But like it says there, it saves you days of Googling, and it really does. It can get you, intelligence, market trends, keywords, all stuff that's publicly available, don't get me wrong. There's nothing that's private here. You can't dig into private information. But by doing that for you, it saves you hours and hours of time and helps you collate ideas into better, more usable ways, all right? So, as I put there, in short, the heavy lifting is all done for you, all right? So let's break it down, right? What we want is broad and evergreen, right? The make money online industry is huge. Everybody would love to make money online and not have to go into work and, just have money automated and coming in. If it was that simple, everybody would do it. So I say if it's that simple, it is simple in theory, in concept. It's just not easy. Right, and there's a lot of competition, right? So we need to make sure that we get everything right and realise as well who we are competing with, because there are people out there making 500 grand a month selling digital products, maybe some even making more. But we're not trying to compete with that, right? This program, we're going to try and make our first dollar. That's it. First dollar. Once we do that, that's when we're going to scale it, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to scale it to be a wage, right? I think the median wage or the average wage in the UK, I think, I'll have to double check, but it's about £36,000 roughly. We'll check when it comes to later on. We'll worry about that once we made our first dollar, but it's around £36,000, right, a year. I don't know what that is in dollars, maybe $40,000, maybe a little bit more. And that'll be our next goal. We'll try and make our first dollar, then our first 100, and we'll just keep trying to beat it to try and get to a median UK wage. And if we can make a median UK wage, which is realistic over time, I believe, based on, what we can achieve, then you have a automated business paying you a average solid wage that you can live off. Anything beyond that then becomes a bonus if we can go beyond that. But ultimately, that's what we're looking for. So, people are making 500 grand a month. We're looking for a tiny percentage of that, like maybe 3 grand a month, right? So that's what, 0.6%. 0.6% of these top earners. We don't even have to be 1% as good as them, in theory, right? So that's what we're looking at, right? So ChatGPT, right, can list specific niches, right? So within the money-making, online money-making industry, right, you can narrow it down. You've got blogging, you've got affiliate marketing, you've got drop shipping, YouTube marketing, all that kind of stuff, right? I've narrowed it down. We're going digital products, creating digital products, beginners. But I did it with ChatGPT. I did it with ChatGPT. So we're going to do that and show you how I did that and how we're going to move forward from there as well. So why sub-niches? It says here, as you can see, there's loads of profitable topics. You need to zoom in, right? Like we said, you need to have a specific audience. especially when it comes to marketing, especially if you're using organic, because once you... TikTok and Instagram and all these places are really good. The algorithm's really good at picking what your content's about and which audience it should show it to. But to build credibility and following and to then get some interest and some sales, you need to hit that repeatedly. We need multiple touch points. You need to keep coming up in that same market. If we're talking about different things, it's going to be showing our content to all these different groups of people, and we're never going to ever get any traction or any kind of progress or any momentum with it. So we need to be really specific for the marketing purposes mostly. And ultimately, once you've created a product like this, there's nothing stopping you creating another one about something different. Maybe set up a new Instagram page, which is what I would do, a different page and different, approach it from a different way. But we'll get more on that when we get to, sharing stuff and about how we market, etc. Right, market demand. We need a demand, right? If there's no demand for our product, then nobody's going to be interested in it, nobody's going to buy it, right? ChatGPT can identify trends using that research function. Oh my God, excuse me. Can identify trends using the research function. What you don't want. So, for instance, that Roadmap 3.0 course, I don't know if you've heard of that, right? Ultimately, that is a business course that teaches you how to essentially sell the course. But that's been going around for a while. I think it's on its fourth iteration now. And it's lost momentum. The trend is really going the other way on that. So if you were to buy that, because a lot of people are buying that with a master resale rights and then selling it on, if you were to do that, then likelihood is you're going to not make much money, if any, because it's just not there. The appetite and desire for it is not there. The market wants something different, something new, right? So we need to find real pain points that our market is facing, and we need to really press on those and find a solution, a genuine solution. We're not trying to con anybody here. We want a genuine solution that can help them fix that problem. So, right, find the gaps, right? Underserved audiences, right? Underserved audiences are ideal, right? This is the people who've got their needs, that aren't being met by the market for whatever reason, right? And where there's gap, there's opportunity. That is ideal scenario. I think realistically, 99% of stuff has been covered in this area at the minute in digital products. It's just a case of delivering something better, something real, more tangible, right? Because what I find, I've done a lot of these courses myself, and what I find is a lot of it is just strategy talk, much like this video, right? There's loads of strategy that they never actually give away what they're actually doing. Because what they're actually doing is working. If you've bought the course and they're making money off it and doing well, then what they're actually doing is working. But they don't actually show you what they're doing. They show you what they would do or what they've done in the past that no longer works. And that kind of infuriates me a little bit. So that's the point of this. We're going to dig deep. We're going to show what we're actually doing. And I'm going to teach people what I'm actually doing. And if it works, you know what I've actually done. There's no gatekeeping. There's no hiding stuff. It's legit what's gone on. So you can, again, same with anything, right? We're going to use ChatGPT, right? So we can dig down. So for example, right, within your niche, like ChatGPT might find some busy moms who want to start a side hustle but only have 1 hour a day. Really super specific, right? And we want to go that specific with stuff, and we want to touch on things that are that specific in our marketing, right, to bring people in. That's what we want to do. But we need to find a group of people that we can serve that want this product, that it is going to be valuable to as well, right? And then we can start from there, and we can branch out from there, right? But we target a specific group of people, get our first sale, maybe get multiple sales, and then we'll move on from there. So demographics and skill levels, again, I've said we're going to attack. We're not attacking anybody, chill out. We're going to go for beginners essentially, right? Because this is us starting out. This is us going from zero to our first dollar. So why am I going to teach an expert who's already making 500 grand? Like, it just doesn't make sense, does it? And they would not be interested. So we're going to go beginner, how to go from zero to making your first dollar. That's step one. Then we're going to go from making your first dollar to your first $100, to first 100 to first 1,000, 1,000 to 10. And that's the way we're going to go. And we will do it step by step. Right, so again, content gaps, right? Spot the content gaps. We're going to use ChatGPT for all of this. AI will do some analysis for you as well, and figure out what other people are doing and how you can kind of compete with that. Because ultimately what we want, an area of low competition and high value, which is perfect for us. That's ideal case scenario, like I've said. Otherwise, we're just going to have to knuckle under and just be better, really. And by be better, I don't mean, and this is where people get it wrong, right? By be better, I don't mean have all the bells and whistles. Like I said in the last video, that's why we're keeping it raw. That's why we're just doing this Osmo Pocket 3 on a PowerPoint, keeping it raw, right? Nothing major. We've left all the lighting out. We left all the niceties out. I've just literally got natural light coming in through the window here, because anybody can do this with their phone. So I'm keeping it real. We're keeping it this way, where it's raw, where I'm showing you everything, and that way, that's what's going to set us apart, ultimately. All right. So I don't know why I picked these pictures, by the way. Just it's all grainy in the gym, but who knows? I think I picked this because I'm interested in the gym, and that could be one of my niches, essentially. If I wasn't trying to teach you and go through how to create this as I go, then I probably would have done something else like this, but it just made more sense to me to keep it on digital products. But I don't know, maybe I'm just complicating it unnecessarily. But anyway, right, we want to play to your strengths, right? So your ideal niche is something that you are passionate about. Like, you hear that all the time, don't you? Go for your passion, something you're passionate. And the reason they say that is because whatever you do is a lot of work. And if you don't enjoy it, if you won't sit down and do it day after day for the rest of your life potentially, then if it's something that's going to make you miserable, then don't do it. No matter how much money it's worth, how much money you can make, it's not worth it. It'll just make you miserable. So we've got to find something that we enjoy, that we like, that we have an interest in. If we got skills in that department, even better. That's top drawer. That's what we want. And then we find the intersection between the things that we like, the things that we love, the things that we're good at, and market need, right? And when we find the crossovers, and then we make a selection from there, and that's how we pick what we're going to do. So again, that's why I've picked this, because I'm sitting down anyway, teaching how to make a digital product, so it just makes sense for me to do a digital product and telling how to do a digital product. Anywho, yeah, so I put a ChatGPT as a personal coach, right? But essentially, it will help you, and you can bounce ideas off it, and it will help you suggest niches and other areas, and you can use it to kind of deepen what you're doing, right? But don't just use it to do everything, because then it'll just spew out generic, crappy information that everybody else is using, and then it's not valuable to anybody. So find the balance, right? So passion and demand equals long-term win. As I said, right, if you really enjoy something, you'll do it for longer, and you'll just, plus your life will be better, right? If you do manage to get to a point you replace a wage and you're just doing something that you love, then you'll win already, aren't you? So, the niche research process then, right? So, iterative conversation, not one-off questions. Yeah, don't worry about that. I put that in there, but really I should have put that in the tactical one, and we'll go over that when we come to the tactical video on what questions to use and how to use them and stuff like that. So, but we want to be specific essentially when we're guiding the AI, right? We want to spend more time on your prompts. People will put these one-liner prompts in, and then the responses you get are shit, to be honest, because they are, they're only as good as what you're asking them. So you need to ask them, and you need to be clear. This is the output that I want. This is the level of detail I need. This is what I want to know exactly about this, and this. And if it doesn't give you what you need, then, as I say here, probe every angle. Then we dig in. Even if we have to branch out, right? We have to branch out and make another GPT so that it doesn't get too diluted and we get lost within that one chat. Open another chat and then go down that rabbit hole on that chat, and then you put it all together at the end, right? It takes a little bit of work, but it's worth doing. ChatGPT is a great tool, but we have to use it correctly, right? And then we have to validate and refine. Like I say, ChatGPT is just a tool. It's going to give us information. It's going to help curate that information. But we still have to act on that information, and we still have to use that information well. So we have to know that it is correct to a degree, and we have to know how to refine it and make it worthwhile for other people. So, wrapping it up, right? Your AI game plan. So that's a strategic overview, right? That's basically where ChatGPT is going to come in when we're finding our niche. We are going to dig into it deeper, right? So we're going to go into how I would use it, and we're going to show you me using it. We're going to figure out, I've already got my niche, but we'll just do it. I'll start from scratch as if we don't, and we'll just dig a little deeper, right? And I'll guide it, and we'll dig deep and find out what exactly I'm going to target and how I'm going to do that, okay? So that's what we'll do, but yeah, we need to leverage AI, like it or not. There's no not using AI these days. It's such a powerful tool that will save you so much time. We just have to use it, so we will. Yeah, and that's that. I think the next video we'll go into the tactical side of creating a niche, and then we'll move on from there step by step. I'll probably run it this way with the videos, I think. So the first one was more of an overview intro of what this channel is about, what we're going to be doing. And then this is a strategic overview of finding a niche. The next video, we will dig into that and identify our niche properly. And then we'll move on to the next steps, market research, pain points, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to have to break it down into videos, because otherwise it's just going to be too long for me, too long for you, and just be painful. So we're going to break each down. So we're just going to find our niche. That's step one. We're going to do that in the next video. Then we'll go on strategic overview, why it's important to find the pain points and how we find them and what we're going to do with them. Then I'll go into the tactical. We'll find all the pain points and how we're going to press it. And then even around that, there's a lot of work before we even get started on creating a product. So then there's going to be a lot of other bits and pieces tied into that we're going to work on, all right? But for now, we'll leave it at that. And I'll see you soon for finding a niche. Peace out.